Hey guys, it's Slick Trolling here. Just want to let you know we got an update coming tomorrow for Star Wars Force Arena. We got 2 new characters coming out, and each of them has a unique of their own. So we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi and Count Dooku. The Obi-Wan Kenobi is, of course, the Clone Wars version. I'm super excited about Obi-Wan specifically. Count Dooku is pretty decent as well. So I'm just going to quickly go over them. I'm not going to go crazy into detail. Just want to let you know basically. So with Obi-Wan, he's looking like he's going to be pretty much a tanky character. He's got a decent health pool, and his abilities really emphasize the fact that he is a tank. So he has a damage reduced by 50% if his health drops below 35, and he has a taunting ability which pulls your organics and leaders attacked onto him. So 100% chance to defend against melee attacks and reflect blaster fire. It lasts for 3 seconds, and he can also at the end of it use it again to do 300% damage around him with a 32-second cooldown. Plus, he deflects blaster fire when he's standing still, like most of the light side characters do. I'm super stoked for Obi-Wan. I now have a pretty decent reason to play light side, which I've been kind of not really all that interested in, but definitely going to be going on to it now. Obi-Wan's unique is going to be Commander Cody, and he's coming in at 5 energy, so he's pretty steep in cost, but he's also a pretty damn good card. It looks like he's got a nice health pool, his damage is high, and he's got a ability to summon a clone trooper with a rocket launcher as soon as he encounters a vehicle or a building. So really nice. So this pairs nicely with Obi-Wan because of Obi-Wan's taunt, pulling all the focus onto him and keeping it off of Cody, while Cody and his other unit and whatever else you've deployed can just go straight onto targets that they want to be on, rather than, especially with the missile launcher guy going straight onto the tower, you can kind of get some tower damage right away, and your units can also kind of damage on whatever you've got taunted to kind of push through and get over it. Okay, so something to point out, Obi-Wan's not only going to be good at pushing, but he's also going to be great at defending. His kit allows him to pull everything off of the tower and keep it focused on you, and while you drop units in behind to clear them out. So he also has the great ability to defend as well as be offensive. He's just, to me, all around a great card. Moving on, we've got Separatists here. We got Count Dooku, looking like he's going to be a great character to defend against pushes specifically. He has the ability to counterattack enemy melee attacks. It doesn't specify leader, so I'm thinking any melee unit. And what happens is if he has a 50% chance when he's hit to immediately deal 200% damage to the target that hit him, which is pretty crazy, I think. His active ability allows him to slow enemy movement and channel, so his channels Force Lightning, which slows enemy movement by 50%. Alright, and then he has a ramp up damage per second. So as he's channeling it, it starts at 120%, and then it ramps up per second up to 540%. And if you move, it ends the skill. It has a 20-second cooldown. I think it has a 20-second cooldown because of how easy it might be to interrupt it. But either way, the fact that he can just stand there and channel Force Lightning out, pretty much wiping out a wave of anything coming in, honestly. Because with him standing there channeling, it's slowing movement speed down. You can deploy your units. It doesn't say that unit deployment interrupts his channel, so I don't think it does. But he can just stand there channeling, mowing down the units, doing continuous damage, while your units also pick off whatever gets out of it. Count Dooku's unique is going to be the Vulture Droid. Comes in at 6 energy, but that 6 energy gives you a whole lot of power. So it's going to drop a bomb, wiping out the units that are down below, and then immediately afterwards it's going to deploy and it's going to start marching across the field. It comes down as a mobile unit with a decent amount of health and looks like a decent amount of firepower. So you're going to have a nice tanky unit. So you're going to be able to counter push and start your push right back. It's all around sounds like it's a great card, and like I said, these two together are really anti-push. So pretty much you're dealing with your Lukes, your Leias, your Reys, and your Anakins. They're all done. Like if you pair this correctly, you're going to be doing some fantastic things. Also, we've got a few leader and unit changes. So leader changes, they're kind of doing like a mild rework to Leia. They're changing her passive to reduce movement impairment effects by 40% rather than increase movement speed of her troops. Personally, I feel like it's a nerf. I feel like the speed of her units is kind of what gives her the edge, not removing impairments, especially because it doesn't remove them, it reduces them. So I don't know, to me it just sounds like a nerf. It might not be, but I just don't see it helping her in any way. The unstable GNK droid is now getting a little bit of a change as well. He's turning him more into the Imperial probe droid. Now, it doesn't say it's changing any of his baseline stats aside from his damage, so I'm thinking he's still going to be slow, he's still going to be tanky as hell. But he has now a built-in self-destruct, which causes an AoE damage now instead of just damaging the tower, which is really going to force you to play smarter against them, because I find a lot of people panic and they just throw down units on top of it, and now, if you do that, once it's dead, it's going to wipe out the units. So you're really going to want to make sure that you counter it properly. Grand Inquisitor is getting a rework as well. His passive is being changed that he does 3% increased damage every time he attacks an enemy, and it increases to a maximum of 30%, and it continues to maintain for 5 seconds after that, after his attack. If they're a Jedi, it's doubled. So I'm thinking that he can build this up on units as he's like moving across the field, and then get to a leader and be at 30% damage. And if they're a Jedi, it's now 60%, and he can just destroy them. That's honestly how I feel. This was one of my favorite cards when the game first came out. He started to fall behind once a lot of other cards started doing compounded things, and so honestly, for me, he just kind of became one I didn't really play a whole lot. But now it looks like he's definitely going to be up there again. I don't know if he's going to be top tier, but he should. I don't know. He could be, because that seems like it's a hell of a change. Shadrack Assassins is getting a change, so they're adding a debuff, or not a debuff, a dot to them. Whenever they hit a target, they're getting a 6-second dot on them. It does 1% of their health every second. Now, it looks like they've changed the AI functionality on it to prioritize leaders, kind of like how the Resistance Sniper does. I don't know if this is going to make them really good or okay or what, but honestly, it's not a card I use now. I don't know if it's going to suddenly become a card that I use because of these changes, but anyways. The other two cards that they're changing, and this is kind of nice, is the Resistance Fighter. Now, if you play light side, you probably hate this change, but if you play dark side, you love it, because this thing is a pain in the ass. It's got a ton of health, and it does a ridiculous amount of damage, and not only does it do a ridiculous amount of damage, it also AoEs. So they're cutting his damage in half, and they're giving it more damage per second instead. I think that's a great change, because a lot of times he just comes in, wipes out a whole unit with 1 or 2 swings, and that's it. And then he's fine, and he just goes right to a tower because he's got a ton of health, and he can just wail on towers. He's supposed to be the light side version of the Executioner, and I just feel like he's so much better than the Executioner. So this is a nice change to kind of level the playing field a little bit. BB-8 is also getting double his damage. This card to me was, I don't know, there's a lot of discrepancy whether it's good or not. I think it's garbage. That's just my opinion. Yeah, it's like the hack is nice. It takes too long. He doesn't really do a lot of damage. So maybe this doubling his damage will be enough to put him playable. Maybe not. I don't know. They're also making a few quality of life changes here. So we're getting a new UI update for the missions that we do. Once it hits 50% completion or more, it'll show up on the top of the screen, giving you like a little bit of an indication of how much more you have to do. You can swipe up to get it off of there. Kind of nice, not really something that's going to affect me a whole lot. Same thing here, we got guild recommendation list. This is something that I don't need because I'm in a guild and it's not really a problem, but if you're having issues with that, or you're a guild hopper or whatever, this is going to give you a bigger selection of guilds to show. I guess there was some kind of bug or issue with it before, and it doesn't really apply to me. This one doesn't really affect me either, as far as I understand, because this is regarding the leveling process with the little missions that they give you. They just changed the order of 2 of them, so not really something that applies to me. Card pack UI change, so now you're going to get a little bit more information about what's in the pack and how, like, your chances of what is coming, rather than it was kind of vague before, so you get a little bit more understanding now. And this is a kind of cool change that they're adding in too, this video recording function. So for anyone who doesn't play it on an emulator on PC and play it on your phone, but you still want to share your content, this is a nice way for you to do that now, because they're giving you the option to save the files. I don't know how that's going to work, like whether they're going to go to your cloud, your hard drive, or what. But anyways, it's still a great feature, and it looks like it's going to have some issues with older iOS devices, though. It's specifying that they're not going to be able to use it. So just something to keep keep in mind. But it's kind of a cool feature. The other thing here that I think is probably one of the biggest points of this whole patch, in all honesty, is the matchmaking system is being improved for squad leaders in tier 9 to 11, because there's a big problem right now with people in that tier getting matched with people in like tier 13 and 14 when games are being slow. I would rather wait an extra 30 seconds than play a game that I'm going to lose when I'm on my lower account, that is. And for a lot, I feel like this is a kind of a breaking point for a lot of people. If you're new to the game and you've ranked up really fast, because they give you a ton of rewards and things like that, you rank up really fast, you get to a pretty high tier, and then all of a sudden you hit a brick wall and you're facing players that are way higher level than you, card-wise, tower-wise, even rank. Like they out-level you so much that it's ridiculous. You don't even stand a chance. Honestly, this was a change that needed to happen, because it sucks when you're the player that's getting like just steamrolled, but it's also not that fun if you're the player that's doing this steamrolling, in all honesty. I mean, unless you're the kind of douchebag that's like, oh yeah, I'm so overpowered, it's great. But honestly, if you actually like a competitive opponent or somebody that you can actually stand a level footing with, it's not that much fun if you go in there and you just steamroll them completely. That's not fun, in my opinion. But so this is a nice change, I think, especially for new people and for those of us that play one side heavily and the other one not so much, because honestly I'm Kyber and I always hit rank 14 on dark side, but not on light side. I'm not even Kyber on light side. So that's kind of a nice little thing as well. That just about does it. I wanted to drop the quick video. Hopefully I kept it short enough. I didn't really want to start rambling. I have a bad habit of doing that. But anyways, check it out tomorrow. I'll probably have a video up with the new characters in the game. If not, I'll definitely have it up Friday. Depends. I'm really busy tomorrow, but hopefully I can have it up. Secondly, I'll be streaming this weekend as well. Streaming my Twitch channel with the new cards, trying them out and seeing how things go. You can check me out there as well. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button and the subscribe. Helps me out a ton. If you don't, hit the dislike and let me know what I can change to make it better for you. Alright? You guys have a good one. See you next time.